Just doing a quick video on 18A, question 6. So the key here is to not get too worried about all this HT equals ATT minus 5t squared meters. Remember, at this year level, you can imagine this as just being y, and the t is x. The reason why they're calling it t is because it's in context now. So this function, quadratic function, is talking about, or it's telling you what the height of something is depending on how many seconds it's been flying, which is t. So that's why they've just labeled it to fit the words that it's representing. But it can just as easily be y, and it could just as easily be x, which is what you're used to, okay? So don't be afraid of that. But A, calculate the height of the object after 1 second. So in this case, it's working out what the height is, what y is, when x is equal to 1. So you're substituting. So the height y is going to be 80 at 1 second. So 80 times by 1 minus 5 lots of 1 squared. So that's going to be 80 minus 1 squared is 1 times by 5. 80 minus 5 is going to be 75 meters for A1. A2, we want to find y, or the height, when it's 3 seconds. So 80 times by 3 minus 5 lots of 3 squared. 80 times by 3 is 240 minus 3 squared is 9 times by 5, 45. Just double check all this. 80 times 3, yep. 3 squared, 3 times 3 times 5, 45. 240, take 45, 195 meters. 5 seconds. Y is equal to 80 lots of 5 this time. Take away 5 lots of 5 squared. 80 times 5, 400. Take away 5 squared is 25 times by 5. Take 125. 400, take 125, 275 meters. Calculate the time at which the height of the object is 140. So the difference with B is it's telling you what the height is. It's telling you what y is. So we'll replace y with that first number, which is 140, and the function remains equals 80x take 5x squared. This is a quadratic. If you want to rearrange it, do so. 140 equals negative 5x squared plus 80x. Looks more like a quadratic. We need it to equal 0. So 0 is equal to 5x squared plus 80x. Take 140. I notice that 5 goes into all of these, so I'm going to remove negative 5 as a factor. 80 divided by 5, 16. So negative 16x. How many 5s go into 140? 140 divided by 5, 28. Negative 5 to negative 40, so positive 28. What is the opposite of timesing by negative 5 on the outside here? Dividing. 0 divided by negative 5 is just going to leave you with 0, so that cleans it up nicely. What are the factors of 28? 1 and 28, 2 and 14. That's going to get me 16. Negative 2 and negative 14 times together to get positive 28. So that's going to be 0 is equal to x take 2, x take 14. So what's that saying? The times at which the object is 140, it's going to be at x is equal to 2 seconds or 14 seconds, which makes sense because an object, when it's projected into the air, goes up and then down. And you're saying the times at which is 140 meters, well, if let's say 140 meters was there, it's going to reach that height early on, and it's going to also reach that height a bit later as well. So it makes sense to have two answers here. Let's do 2 0 meters. So this is saying y is 0, 80x take 5x squared. Doesn't look like a quadratic, so rearrange. Negative 5x squared plus 80x. That looks nicer. It doesn't have 3 terms, so it's not going to be sum and product rule. I'll still remove negative 5 as a factor. X. I can remove negative 5x as a factor because 5x is in both of these. Negative 5x, you're going to have x. And what's 80 divided by 5? 16. I've removed negative 5, so it should be negative 16. Why is that? What's negative 5x times by negative 16? Positive 80x. So then what do you have? You have null factor law, negative 5x equals 0, or x takes 16 equals 0. So x is going to be 0, or x is going to be 16. It makes sense that an object projected into the air would be at 0 height twice because it starts off at 0 and it ends at 0. The flight of this thing is going to take 16 seconds to reach the end of its flight path. C, explain your answers in part B. Well, that question is asking you why there are 2 answers. Reasons have just been explained. I didn't realize that I was answering question C by explaining that the flight of a projectile goes up and down. You could say that because projectiles go up and down. Okay, hopefully that helps you out for question 6 of 18A, I think it was. And see you in the next video.